Hi, welcome to Therapy Thursday. My name is Danica Copp, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker in Virginia, and I'm a licensed independent clinical social worker in Massachusetts, where I'm originally from. Welcome to my home office in Virginia. The coronavirus crisis, I don't even know what day we're on, but it's pretty overwhelming, and it's becoming our new normal. And that's really scary. And the unknowns of the future and what life will look like is causing even those of us who don't have anxiety to begin to have some clinical levels of anxiety. So this video was a request. I had several people request coping skills. So that's what I'm going to do today. So I have some notes, so don't mind me if I kind of just look down a few times. The first note I have is to talk about the valgus nerve. So your valgus nerve is a very long nerve in the body that starts up in the back of the head, and it goes all the way down your spine into your butt. And the valgus nerve, among other things, brings messages back and forth along your body, but it also is like your air conditioning for your body. So when you start to feel like overwhelmed or like overheated with emotions, the valgus nerve is the air conditioning that will then kind of calm that back down. Kind of cool the way we're made. So the way to engage your valgus nerve is by taking your nice deep belly breaths where you're really engaging your entire, abdominal, chest area and your diaphragm. When you expand all the way out, that's going to press on your valgus nerve, and that's going to engage that kind of cooling system. Okay? So the way I teach kind of deep belly breaths to children is I give them a stuffed animal and we lay on the floor and we hold our stuffed animal on our abdomen and we just breathe as deep as we can, and the goal is to give that animal like a rise and a fall with our breaths. So that's something that kind of you can use as your own visual as you practice. But the goal is to take in so much air that you kind of engage everything and kind of hold it and then breathe it back out. Some people will call this like a 4-4-4 breath. So you inhale for 4, you hold for 4, and then you exhale for 4. So it's going to look something like this. And that just kind of naturally slows us down, engages the valgus nerve, and allows our body to kind of do like a little bit of a reset. So I hope that that's number one skill that could help you. Mindfulness, which is kind of what that breathing is a part of, is become a very big part of, practice and kind of the idea of ways to kind of calm ourselves. And mindfulness has some wonderful skills. And I am going to go ahead and put some links in my description about some videos that I have found to be helpful. I created a whole list of mindfulness YouTube videos that I give to clients to practice. For me, this is how I was able to learn and get better at mindfulness, because I really struggled with how to kind of keep my brain quiet and how I just didn't feel like I was good at it. I felt like just mindfulness was just something I couldn't do. And I went to a conference several years ago, and the instructor there gave me an amazing tip. She said to me that mindfulness is not the goal to not lose focus. Like when you're being mindful, it's accepted that your brain is kind of going to go to different directions. So when I would be mindful in the past, like I would be like, okay, Danica, take a deep breath. Oh my goodness, I forgot to get milk. Oh, shoot. Oh, now we're not going to have milk for the breakfast. Okay. Oh, I'm being mindful, Danica. Stop. Okay, refocus. Oh my goodness, I left the laundry in. Oh, I'm going to have to rewash the laundry again. Why do I always do that? I waste so much water. Oh, wait, no. Danica, mindfulness. Oh my gosh, Abby needed whatever, and I forgot to get it. Oh, I always forget. I need to write this stuff down. That would be me trying to be mindful. Like all these just random thoughts popping in and like shaming myself. So what I began to understand through this instructor's kind of her analogy, she said it's like a clock. And so you are starting off being mindful at noon. And at 3 o'clock, your brain thinks of something or a thought pops in and your brain kind of starts down that path. At 6 o'clock, you become aware that your brain is not on track anymore. And so you kind of are like, hey brain, come on back. At 9 o'clock, you're starting to kind of refocus, and at noon, you're back focused again. So the goal is not to not go around the clock. The goal is to get so good at going around the clock that you just do it automatically. And that you have a thought, you realize you had a thought, you let go of the thought, you're back together, mindful. That's the goal of mindfulness. And she said that in her training under some pretty like high up, like, you know, mindfulness gurus, they would say the same thing. They absolutely lose track of their thoughts when they're trying to be mindful, but they're so quick to bring it back that it's barely a blip. So I hope that helps you when you think about just trying to be mindful, that the goal is not to not have those thoughts. The goal is to get really good at being aware and bringing your thoughts back to where they should be and not letting it kind of go down the rabbit hole, okay? So there are some wonderful, wonderful apps out there. iCalm, Headspace is a great app. What's Up and Sounds True all do kind of guided meditation, mindfulness practice stuff. Super easy to get started, to try it. I know especially Headspace starts off like with 2 minutes. And you know, the goal is really to train your brain, and we got to start small. You cannot expect to sit for a 30-minute meditation, never having done meditation. That's too long. So to start really small, 2 to 3 minutes, okay? There's a newer app. I happen to be Roman Catholic, and the Catholic Church has kind of struggled with, you know, the idea of mindfulness and feeling like it's secular and almost kind of more like in the Buddhist faith, and that, you know, for Catholics, mindfulness is prayer. So there's a wonderful new Catholic app called Hallow, Hallow. Highly recommended if you're Catholic. So those are the apps that I recommend. So, okay, second coping skill is called See, Hear, Feel, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so the first round you're doing on 5. And so you are going to look around and name 5 things you see. So I'm in my office. I have light, my water bottle, my keypad, my computer screen, and a window. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes. And then I'm going to listen for 5 things I hear. I hear the computer running, and I hear my noise machine. I can hear my own breathing. So I'm struggling to hear 2 more things. That's okay. The goal is to just kind of sit for a minute or, you know, a moment. Just kind of listen. I can hear my husband and his mom talking. And I don't know if you heard the dog's jingle of his chains as she kind of tried to listen. So that's kind of the point, is just kind of be quiet. If you can't get to 5, that's okay. There's no right or wrong here, okay? With being, you know, using coping skills doesn't have a right answer and a wrong answer. So just do the best. But the goal is just kind of be silent with yourself and kind of with your surroundings and really kind of take it in. And as you saw, it took me, you know, a minute or 2 to kind of really hear 5 things. So now I need to think of 5 things that I feel. So again, I need to kind of be quiet with myself. So I'm actually feeling okay. I was a little bit anxious kind of as I started this. This is like take number 4. There was a little bit of anxiety there. But I'm feeling calmer now. I feel rested. I had a really good night's sleep. I feel satiated. I had a nice breakfast, so I feel good about that. I feel, you know, kind of full, like comfortably full, not like over full. I have a little bit of excitement because I'm kind of enjoying doing these videos, and so it's been kind of fun. It's been very affirming to me. You know, I forget things that I kind of just do every day are skills that a lot of people don't know. So it's really been a nice boost for me, especially during this time, to kind of hear back how much my videos are helping people. So that excitement, I feel that. And then I feel just an overall kind of just sense of peace. I'm doing a lot to take care of myself right now, so I can really kind of feel that. So just kind of think about feelings. When I use the skill at night when I can't sleep, a lot of times, you know, temperature-wise, I'm struggling. Like either I'm feeling too hot or too cold. I might feel really comfy in my bed. I love my bed. It's just a really comfortable kind of nest that I have. And so, you know, my body feels supported and comfortable. Just kind of like pay attention to, you know, not only just like the feelings in your head, but just like the sensations of your body. Like, what are you noticing? And again, there's no wrong answers, okay? Then, okay, so I did the 5, see, hear, feel. So now I go to 4. And so 4, you're always going to be able to find 4 new things, 3 new things, 2 new things, 1 new thing to see, because ideally there's lots in your environment. You may not hear a lot of new things, and that's okay. And you may not notice that you feel anything new, but you may be kind of honing in on like really what it is that is like your core feeling. So you're basically just going to kind of keep going through that until you have 4 things that you see, that you feel, that you hear, or I did that backwards. And then 3 things that you see, that you hear, that you feel, 2, and then 1, and then you're done. And ideally, you know, this is going to take you a few minutes and you're going to kind of just feel a little bit calmer and kind of just grounding and settling yourself. Okay? So that's see, hear, feel, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, the next one is name what you see, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my drone video, where you just kind of look around your environment and literally just start out loud naming things. Again, this is grounding in your current environment. So, you know, if you're driving, you know, you may just start naming, you know, blue car, red car, you know, Massachusetts license plate, Virginia license plate, you know, North Dakota license plate. You may not ever see that. You know, Florida license plates, or, you know, you can just, you know, I see the trees, I see the flowers, I see, you know, whatever it is that you see, you just start naming it. Almost like you're talking to like a baby and you're teaching words, just like that. Okay? The next thing is my worry questions. So I'm sure these are found out there. I just kind of typed this up myself because I was using this skill with clients regularly. When you are just feeling overwhelming worry, I like to work with clients to kind of like, let's hone it down. So when you're feeling this worry, like let's identify what you're worried about. That's question number 1. So I'm going to take the coronavirus. I'm worried about I might get sick. Okay. I can identify that worry. Another worry might be I'm worried that like my life may never be what it was before. I'm worried that, you know, graduation, you know, may never be able to happen. I'm worried that the concert I was going to go to this summer is going to get, you know, we're not going to be able to go to a concert. Or I'm worried that, you know, the gatherings that I used to do for my religious faith, we're not going to be able to gather like that. What does that look like? That scares me. I'm worried about that. So identify what you're worried about. That's question 1. Question 2 is, what is the worst case scenario that could come out of this situation? So, okay, I'm worried that I'm going to get sick from coronavirus. Well, the worst case scenario is that I could die. That's the worst case. You know, the worst case scenario, if life never goes back to what it was, is that I have to learn a new normal. Worst case scenario is if we can never do gatherings again, is that we're going to have to kind of figure out how to socially distance in social situations. Like we're going to figure that out, a new normal. Okay. So number 3 is, what will I do if my worst case scenario comes true? Well, if I die, I'm dead. So, okay, what do I believe about death? And so I have to kind of go into those questions and kind of think about like, what does death mean to me? If it's, I'm starting to forget what I talked about. If it's, you know, that this is the new normal, then, okay, what does that mean for my life in a new normal? If it's, I don't remember the other questions I had, but I hope you get the idea. Like, you're just going to kind of go to like, what's the worst case thing could happen? So that was number 3. Number 4 is, no, I'm sorry. That was number 2. Number 3 is, what will I do if the worst case scenario happens? No, I did that one. Number 4 is, what's the likelihood of number 2? So what's the likelihood that this worst case scenario is going to come true? The likelihood that I'm going to get sick and die is pretty low. I'm healthy. I'm taking care of myself. The likelihood is low. So I'm going to kind of just put that in the back burner. It's less than 0%. I really think that is where I'm at in terms of me personally. The likelihood that life will never go back to what it was before is probably quite high. I'm going to say 60 to 70%, I think, is likelihood. So that's actually a high one. And then I am going to put a big red check mark over my worry because I went there. I worried about it. I decided what was the worst case scenario. I came up with a plan of what I would do with it. I looked at the likelihood of it. I worried about it. So put a big red check mark over that worry. And when your brain wants to go back there, remind your brain, I already went there. I worried. When we really kind of go through those questions, as opposed to just kind of letting that worry like lurk in the back of our head, it helps our body and our brain to really process through the fear, the worry. And when you allow yourself to do that, it's less scary, right? Like kind of like the boogeyman, like when you were a child and you didn't really know what the boogeyman was, it was really scary. But as you grew up and you understood that really the boogeyman was like shadows and just the way light and, the closet door open, or the way things just kind of sat in your closet, or the way something was on the, in a piece of furniture in your room, like it was so less scary once you understood that better. The same thing goes true for worries. So my last thing that I want to say is that learning a new skill, like any of these that I have taught you, is like learning to play a brand new instrument. If you have never played the flute and I handed you a flute and said, here you go, tomorrow you're going to play this in a concert, you all set? You would say to me, that's nuts. No way. And I wouldn't blame you. But if I handed you a flute today and I said, listen, weekly, come on back. I'm going to teach you lessons. I'd like you to take this flute home and I'd like you to practice it every day. Start small, give it like 2 to 3 minutes, work your way up. Hopefully you could get up to like 15 minutes to a half an hour at some point. In 6 months, we're going to have a concert. You would say, yeah, that makes sense. You expecting to be able to use coping skills in a crisis or in a panic situation when you have never had them before, like never having seen a flute, is like expecting to play the flute in the concert tomorrow. And that's not reasonable. You have to allow your brain time to learn and practice and get better at it. And then you should be able to use these skills in a crisis, your concert. Okay? Hope you have a great week. Love your comments. Please like, subscribe. I can't believe I'm saying this. And comment on future videos that you would like. I am really enjoying this and really loving the feedback. So I would love to continue to help people. Thank you so much. Take care.